While there are some cases where people who are treated when they have nothing, mental illness is something that has multifacets to it. So basically what that means is, it might be that somebody's treated for one thing when they might not have it. Or they might be treated for something else and they might not have it. A lot of mental illnesses don't just happen on their own. Like I said, previous point, if you've been abused, then and you've also got a family history of depression, the two together can make depression worse and can cause other forms of mental illness, such as bipolar, such as possible fractured multiple personalities, but or dissociative identity disorders and things like that. Obviously, there are questions whether or not that's a real thing, but that's not the point. What I'm saying is that you can have multiple parts of mental illness, multiple diagnoses in one case. I know Dr. Phil does a lot of stuff like this on his show, where he sends people to a clinic that he calls dual diagnosis, where they go through the brain scans, therapy, biochemical testing and stuff like that. So they try and figure out everything in the best possible way to make sense of things. And it is true that a lot of the time with mental illnesses there are things that work one way when they should, where it's not just one condition, it's multiple conditions. So, and it is something worth thinking about when you go for help. That one thing that I do, or I try and do, is keep a letter and a record of all the conditions and all the symptoms that I have. Keep a detailed record because that is the best way to deal with things. Now the next one. I don't think I'm getting here for this, but Scientologist stance on mental illness is dangerous, and their unwillingness to accept it means that they also allow people to suffer. Several deaths of mentally ill Scientologists, i.e. Jim Carrey's ex-wife, or ex-girlfriend, I think she was his ex-girlfriend, Lisa McPherson and John Travolta's son, are examples. From all accounts, the Jim Carrey's ex that committed suicide, she had depression, and she might have been partially in, or she was in the beginning stages of going into the Scientology system, and she killed herself. And a lot of that, I think, is due to the fact that Scientology have got this thing where they don't believe mental illness works. Now, yes, a lot of the time kids are treated with certain drugs that they shouldn't be, and there is a rush to diagnose a kid with ADD or ADHD when sometimes they literally just need a sit down, and they need intensive therapy to calm down, because a lot of the time they're trying either to get attention or to get a point across, and they can't, and they're struggling, so they need help to figure out how to. That's where, sometimes there is this rush to diagnose people with certain things, particularly in youth, when, yes, there are instances where people are genuinely ADHD, but I don't think all of them are. Obviously, that'd be a case-by-case basis, but that's just my opinion. Lisa McPherson, she was suffering from, God, I can't remember now. I think she was suffering from a breakdown, and because she wouldn't behave, they locked her in a room. And I'm going to do a whole video on that because it's ridiculous. And then instead of taking her to the nearest hospital that was 5 minutes down the road, they took her to 3 hospitals away, which was 45 minutes down the road. because this other the hospital they went to had a Scientologist doctor there, whereas the other hospital didn't. Oh, and then John Travolta's son. Obviously, we think, well, we don't. There is no diagnosis because John Travolta is still a Scientologist, and he probably wouldn't have got him diagnosed. Everybody's of the opinion that John Travolta's son was autistic in one form or another. He was on the autistic spectrum, and I would have to agree. Obviously, I'm not a professional, so I can't say that for certain. However, I'm just saying in my piece that I would view him as autistic from what I've seen. And he died. Now, if they had allowed John to get medical treatment for him, he might still be alive. We need to talk about mental illness to help it be accepted by everyone, especially those in segregated communities such as minorities, disabilities, the LGBTQ. All that we need to address the fact that people don't want to talk about it, that it's this bad thing when it isn't. It's just something that goes on with our brains. Our brains are the most complicated organ in our entire body, and that's saying something. Our brain controls everything. It controls the words that come out of your mouth. It controls how much your heart beats. It controls your breathing. It controls your digestive system. It controls your limb movements. It controls everything. And all we know is that it's this big, pinky, grey, spongy, jello type thing that looks like it's loads of worms that's all folded in on itself. That's all we know. And we are slowly learning more, but our brain's much more powerful than any computer in existence currently. So if you think about it, it's because mental illness is something in the brain, whether it's trauma or biochemical or combination of those two plus extra things, because there are drugs that can cause mental illnesses. It's one of those things that, because we don't know much about the human brain, is what I'm trying to say. We can't, for 100%, say this is what causes this is what causes this, but we have an idea. We've got the correlation type things. But we need to start speaking, because a lot of people, particularly kids, are hiding mental illness or hiding depression. And then you're getting kids killing themselves. No. I was watching a video, it was a Kendall Ray video, I'll pop it up above, where she was talking about suicide. And she mentioned that when she was at school, she had 3 people kill themselves within short succession. And I fell for her. I really felt for her. I've had a set of brothers kill themselves, numerous years apart, and kill themselves in exactly the same way. And I was close to them. I've known them since I was a kid. And it hurts. I do remember them, and I do feel the pain of what happened now and again. But it just further enforces the fact that we need to talk about things more, especially, like I said, with children. Early treatment can prevent both suicide and homicide. Now, there are times where mental illness can result in a homicide. Perfect example, Andrea Yates. She killed 5 kids, I think it was, 4 boys and a little girl. Suffered from postpartum psychosis, which is different from postpartum depression. Now, postpartum psychosis is where you believe that your child's better off dead. That's what she believed, and they kept treating her, and then she'd start getting better, and then she'd come off her meds, whether it's to get pregnant or whatever, and then while she was off her meds, then she'd start acting up, then they put her back on her meds, and if they'd have kept her on her meds, the kids would probably still be here, or if they hadn't have had the last child, because her symptoms would get worse with each child she had. So, numerous mass or serial killers have had mental illnesses. This has sort of been attested. There's also this case will probably get its own video, which is the Chris Benoit case, which is slightly different but along a similar line because it is relating to his brain, where if you affect the brain in any way, whether it's with drugs, whether it's with depression or mental illness or anything like that, it can cause your brain to wise up in weird ways, which includes suicide or homicide. Edmund Kemper, that guy is probably 10 planks short of a shipwreck, as the saying goes here in the UK. Sorry. And he was in an institute once. They let him out, and he's back in, and he's probably going to stay there. But he admits that he was mentally ill, and he knows what he did was wrong. Then you have Ian Brady, who recently died, who admitted he was certifiable. That's one of the Moors murders here in the UK. Then there's Peter Sutcliffe, which is the Yorkshire Ripper. David Berkowitz, Columbine Killers, Santa Barbara Killer, and the Unabomber have all had some form of mental illness. Whether it's extreme cases of paranoia, paranoid delusions, such things like that. These are failed cases of people who didn't receive help resulting in suicides. There are a lot of cases where people kill themselves and then later on they realise, oh crap, they had depression. There are cases where people were trying to help their child or their teen or their friend, and then that person killed themselves because they couldn't help. Now, I know this is a lot more prevalent in America than over here, because over here we have free healthcare. In America you don't. That's a video on its own. But over here we do have the ability to go to the doctors without worrying about having to pay for a co-pay or having to pay this, that and the other, and worrying about if I've got insurance, if the insurance covers it, and this, that and the other, and then there's the fact that if you have a pre-existing medical condition, does it that? Like I said, that's a whole video on its own. So it's one of those things. There's also the issue of self-medication, where people either can't get help that they need, so medication, America with medication or therapy, or can't afford the help to self-medicate with street drugs, normal drugs sold on the street. So, say for example, you can get stuff like diazepam or, Xanax, Zoloft on the street. So you get it on the street because you can't afford to pay for it over the counter, and you can't afford to go to the doctor to get the script for it. And alcohol to stunt the symptoms as well as street drugs, like cocaine, meth. But the problem is with a lot of those drugs is to make your symptoms worse. Like long term, short term they help, long term they don't. Now, this is one thing that I wish a lot of YouTubers did, which is YouTubers should share with people any struggle to let people know that they aren't alone. Now, there are some YouTubers that do. Whenever there are specific YouTubers that do, I know that a lot of YouTubers don't know, and then you start getting are they being fake? Are they doing, are they faking this happiness that they show on camera, etc.? That could cause problems if people, particularly those that are influencers on social media front, came out and said, yes, I've got this, yes, I've got that, this is how I'm dealing with it, then it would help the people that watch them. The Gabby show goes to therapy. She admits that she goes to therapy. There are times when Markiplier is depressed, and he admits that when he's depressed. And there are a lot of other YouTubers that admit that they have mental illness and that they have weak mental moments and things like that, and I love them for it. Shane's always saying about his body dysmorphia. To me, that's a sign of a good YouTuber, that they actually share with their readers what they want to share and what means the best to be able to connect with the readers, because the more relatable they are, the more likely they're going to be popular. So, in short, if you are able to get help, if you feel like you have depression, bipolar, anything, go to a doctor. If you're here in the UK, you go to a doctor. I'm not sure whether under the age of 16, if it is mental illness, you need a parent to go with you. I'm not 100% sure, but I would ring up and ask. Tell your parents, because that's one thing I didn't do, but my mum soon twigged. And she dragged me to the doctor and said, right, we're getting you down. She says, we're getting this figured out because you've got depression. So, at Normalize, the doctor's able to give you tools to help you figure out the cause, whether it's biochemical, whether it's trauma, whether it's a mixture of the two, whether it's inherited, or whether it's just your brain's a little weird. So, don't. I'll always be here for people that want to talk to me. If you don't want to put it in my comments, then go over to my page and message me. Or find me on Twitter. I'll pop my username here and tweet me or inbox me there. Also, if you look down below, I have a Facebook page and you can message me on that. Now, I'll probably do a different video on the issues with psychology in the past, because I have done a lot of research on this, and I'll go into in that video the research that I did and why I did it. But a lot of this video is down to personal experience, and a lot of it is also down to I was looking to do a couple of modules when I was doing my degree, to do a couple of modules of degree level psychology. It was intense, but it was fun. It was intense, but it was fun. It is one of those things that I'm glad I did, and it does help me understand my own mind, never mind anybody else's. So I'll probably release this video over the weekend, probably Saturday, because I think tomorrow I'm going to do the weighing video, yeah, and might record another couple of videos tonight, because I've got the in-laws in the morning. So, but like I say, if you have any issues or any questions, let me know down below, or like I say, contact me privately. So I'll put my Twitter at here, and like I said, down below there is also the link to my Facebook page. You can get a hold of me on those two places. I'm never that far away from my computer or my phone, but I'm always here for anybody that ever wants to talk. And you're never truly alone, because there always will be people, whether it's a YouTuber, whether it's a help group, whether it's a medical professional. And if you ever feel like hurting yourself, please don't. I would put numbers down below, but of course, because this video is shown internationally, it won't be of any good. But I would just ring up mental health advice or anything like that, and you'll be able to get a phone number for your area. But like I say, if you need anyone to talk to, just give me a message and I'm here. So, you're never truly alone. Stay strong. I'll check in with you soon. Have fun, and goodbye.